All right, here I'm gonna work through this review key that you got at the end, and I just wanna make this quick video so that you know whether or not you're on the right track. Okay, so number one, we're supposed to solve, right? 3x plus 2y is equal to -6, and negative x plus y is equal to -8 using three methods, right? So we're gonna do graphing, and then we're going to do substitution, and lastly elimination. Okay, and so by graphing, keep in mind you should be able to graph. Okay, you should be able to graph one of these. You should be able to graph one of these. Like if one of these equations looks like that, you should be able to say, oh, I have x and y. Remember, you switch the signs when you actually come up with a point, and then use your slope to move on from there. And here you have a point here because it's your y-intercept, and you have your slope, so you go from there. And you should also be able to graph the general form, which looks like this, or the standard form, which looks like this, right? -c, or just c, I should say, right? All of these three, whether you would all like to rewrite them into this form, that's fine. But you can get your slope and your y-intercept from this. Make sure that if it looks in standard form, you get it to general form, and then, right, you know that your slope is -a over b, and your y-intercept is -c over b. Okay, so you have your y-intercept and your slope just like you would have here if you're given in general. So remember, slope intercept, slope point, general, standard. You gotta have that figured out, okay? So let's do this by graphing. I won't be using a grid. I'm just gonna grab my ruler, make sure I can have that handy. And the first step I'm gonna do, I like to rewrite. So how about we rewrite this to 2y is equal to -3x minus 6, right? That if you divide everything by 2, you get y is equal to -3 over 2x minus 3. Okay, so I just rewrote that because I'm dealing with graphing first and foremost, right? Here you have y is equal to x minus 8, and you're done actually, right? The x just comes over the equal sign, turns positive, and there you have it, right? So these two can be graphed, no problem. Okay, so you have a y-intercept of -8, and here you have a y-intercept of -3. This has a negative slope, that has a positive slope. So to make this work, what I'm going to do, how about I do this right here? Okay, so I'm just going to make my axes here, and I'm going to make sure that if it's not provided, I'm just going to make sure x and y is labeled. And I'm going to go 2, 4, 6, 8. Or you can go by ones. Let's see if that works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to do the same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Why am I going smaller here? Because I need to account for the -8. And then I'm going to have a positive slope going up, right? So I'm going to do the same thing here. You're consistent. But I'm not going to label every single one. So I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to make this a little longer, indicate that that's my 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my 10 here. Negative, negative, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make it a little longer. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's do another one. That's my 10. and I'm going to keep the same gap though going this way. If you have graph paper, it's probably better. -1, -2, -3. So I kept it consistent. So let's start here with this one, right? You're starting at -3, so 1, 2, 3 right there. And you're using a slope of -3/2. So you're going 1, 2, 3, and then over 2. 1, 2. So that's your next point. Then you're going 1, 2, 3. That's right about there. And 1, 2 right there. Make sure they line up. Graph your line. And there it is, right? You've graphed. We're going to call this 3x plus 2y is equal to -6. And then we're going to do the next one. Oh, I messed. Did I get this right? Yeah, -3. Okay, and now we're going to do this one. You're starting at -8, so 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and your slope is 1, 1. Okay, 1/1. So it's 1, 1. 1, 1. This one is a little closer together than this one, but that's okay. You're consistent, so we can see that it's going to cross there. This one we're going to call -x plus y is equal to -8. Okay, so we can tell that this is the point where they cross. So that's 2, -6. Okay, so 2, -6 is the solution, and we're going to verify if that's the case, right? So we're going to have the left-hand side, right-hand side for the first one, and we have that 3x plus 2y is supposed to be -6. So 3 times 2 plus 2 times -6, that'd be 6 minus 12, and that is -6. So left-hand side is equal to right-hand side. Check. We're going to do another check here with the second equation here, this one. So -x plus y is supposed to be -8. So you have -x, right, plus -6, right? That's -2 and -6, that's -8. Left-hand side is equal to right-hand side. So 2, -6 is the solution. Okay, so we've got that figured out. You have a little statement. And remember that when it's a word problem, these will mean something. Okay, so keep that in mind. Secondly, we're going to do substitution. So this was A. This dealt with A, right, by graphing. We did it by graphing. On the test, I'll give you a grid, most likely. So if you can print it, it'll be a lot easier for you to do. If not, I expect all of these labels and scales and stuff. Graph paper would be great. Okay, so have that handy. B, substitution. So I'm going to just quickly write this down again. Let me pause it. Okay, substitution is where you isolate one of them and you plug it into the other. Okay, and right, if this is always referred to as my first and this is my second equation. I see that y is already has a coefficient of 1. I'm going to rewrite this. I'm going to isolate for y here. So y is equal to x minus 8. Okay, that's the easiest course of action here. You will have no fractions and nothing. Since you isolated the second equation, this one now goes, right, sub into the first one. That's what you're going to do. You're going to take this and substitute it into the first equation. So you go 3x plus 2y is equal to -6, right? And where there's a y, we're going to substitute x minus 8 into that. So 3x plus 2x minus 8 is equal to -6. That's 3x. And you gotta distribute plus 2x minus 16 is equal to -6. Okay. Let's combine our like terms. So that's 5x. The 16 goes over adding. So you've got negative 6 plus 16. 5x is equal to 10. You divide both sides by 5. X is equal to 2. Right? Which is what we expected. We wanted x to be 2. Now you take this one and you sub into 1 or 2. Right? So you start isolating for either one of them. If you start with the second one, you isolate, right? That goes into the first one. Once you find x, you can choose one of them again to plug that in. And I would choose the first one, right? So negative x plus y is equal to negative 8. I'm going to plug in my value here. So negative 2 plus y is equal to negative 8. So that's really negative 2 plus y, which is negative 8. The 2 comes over adding. So y is equal to negative 6, which is what we expected. I won't verify because you already did it. You already verified, so there's no point in doing that again. So 2, negative 6 is the solution. And I will on a test tell you whether or not you're supposed to verify. You won't have to verify every single time. However, if you have that luxury of the time remaining, do it, okay? So let's do elimination now on the back side. I'm going to copy it down again. So elimination is where you you want to add the equations and then cancel out, eliminate one of the variables. So if you were to add this right now, you wouldn't be able to cancel anything. This would give you 2x, this would give you 3y. It just doesn't work. So you have to multiply, right? You have to multiply by something to get rid of it. What you could do, what I see, is that if I multiply the bottom by negative 2, then this will end up giving me a negative 2y, and then the y's will cancel. Or else you could just multiply everything by 3, like the second one by 3, then you get negative 3x. Okay, so either everything by negative 2 or everything by 3. So what I will do, I'll just multiply this by 3 and give me negative 3x plus 3y is equal to negative 24. And this one just stays the same. 3x plus 2y is equal to negative 6. Okay, let's add them now. This cancels out, so you end up with 5y is equal to negative 30. So you divide both sides by 5, and that is negative 6, which is what we wanted. Okay, now you sub into 1 or 2 to get your x value. And I'm going to grab the second one, so negative x plus negative 6 is equal to negative 8. Negative x, the 6 goes over adding, right? So it's negative 8 plus 6. Negative x is equal to negative 2, right? You divide both sides by negative 1, and x is equal to 2, which is what we wanted. So make sure you always state is the solution. I already verified, so no need to do that again. Okay, so this is question 1. I will make more videos where I go through this whole worksheet essentially.